Welcome to Law Experts. You are watching our program Life Skills. We have two young entrepreneurs, Ms. Alina Ahmed and Ms. Aruj Ahmed, who are our guests today. Both are high school students at Jinnah International School, Lahore, Pakistan. Apart from their regular studies, they have deep interests in philosophy, entrepreneurship, human behavior, science, and technology. Assalamu alaikum, Ms. Alina Ahmed and Ms. Aruj Ahmed. Today we are going to discuss a book titled as 7 Habits of Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. We all want to succeed, and one part to success is identifying the habits that can help us on our journey into success. Ms. Alina Ahmed, would you like to tell us what do you mean by a habit?
So basically, a habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. Habitual behavior often goes unnoticed in the persons exhibiting it because a person does not need to engage in self-analysis when undertaking routine tasks. Old habits are hard to break and new habits are hard to form because the behavioral patterns which humans repeat become imprinted in neural pathways. But it is possible to form new habits through repetition. According to Stephen R. Covey, habit is the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire, meaning it is the intersection of what to do, how to do, and want to do.
Mr. Aruj, would you like to tell us what are those 7 habits that Stephen R. Covey has mentioned in his book?
Habit number 1 is be proactive. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. Number 3, put first things first. Number 4, think win-win. Number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Number 6, synergize. Number 7, sharpen your saw.
Ms. Alina Ahmed, we would like to know what do you mean by being proactive?
Stephen R. Covey says that I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decisions. Being proactive is about taking responsibility for your life. You can't keep blaming everything on your parents or grandparents and everyone else. Proactive people recognize that they're responsible. Reactive people, on the other hand, are often affected by their physical environment. They find external sources to blame for their behavior. If the weather is good, they feel good. If it isn't, it affects their attitude and performance and they blame the weather. All of these external forces act as a stimuli that we respond to. Between the stimulus and the response is your greatest power. You have the freedom to choose your response. One of the most important things is that you choose what you say. A proactive person uses proactive language like I can, I will, I prefer, etc. A reactive person uses reactive language like I can't, I have to, or if only. Reactive people believe that they're not responsible for what they say and what they do. Proactive people focus their time and energy on things which they can control instead of worrying about conditions over which they have little or no control. Proactive people focus their efforts on things that they can do something about, like their health, their children, or the problems at work. Reactive people focus their efforts over which they have little or no control, the national debt, terrorism, or the weather.
Ms. Aruj Ahmed, what do you mean by begin with the end in mind?
Dr. Stephen R. Covey says, your most important work is always ahead of you, never behind you. So what do you want to be when you grow up? This question may appear a little trite, but think about it for a moment. Are you right now who you want to be, what you dreamed you'd be, doing what you always wanted to do? Be honest. Sometimes people find themselves achieving victories that are empty, successes that have come at the expense of things that were far more valuable to them. If your ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take gets you to the wrong place faster. Habit 2 is based on imagination, the ability to envision in your mind what you cannot at present see with your eyes. It is based on the principle that all things are created twice. There is a first mental creation and a second physical creation. The physical creation follows the mental, just as a building follows a blueprint. If you don't make a conscious effort to visualize who you are and what you want in life, then you empower other people and circumstances to shape you and your life by default. It's about connecting again with your own uniqueness and then defining the personal, moral, and ethical guidelines within which you can most happily express and fulfill yourself. Begin with the end in mind means to begin each day, task, or project with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination, and then continue by flexing your proactive muscles to make things happen. One of the best ways to incorporate Habit 2 into your life is to develop a personal mission statement. It focuses on what you want to be and what you want to do. It is your plan for success. It reaffirms who you are, puts your goals into focus, and moves your ideas into the real world. Your mission statement makes you the leader of your own life. You create your own destiny and secure the future you envision.
Alina Ahmed, would you like to let us know what do you mean by putting first things first?
According to Stephen R. Covey, effective leadership is putting first things first, and effective management is discipline, which means carrying it out. Putting first things first means organizing and executing around your most important priorities. To live a balanced existence, you have to recognize that not doing everything that comes along is okay. All it takes is realizing that it's all right to say no when necessary and then focus on your highest priorities. Habit 1 says that you're in charge. You're the creator. Being proactive is about choice. Habit number 2 is the first creation or the mental creation. Beginning with the end in mind is about vision. Habit number 3 is the second creation, which is the physical creation. This habit is where habits 1 and 2 come together. It happens day in and day out, moment by moment. It deals with many of the questions addressed in the field of time management. Habit number 3 is about life management as well. Your purpose, roles, values, and priorities. What are first things? First things are those things that you personally find of most worth. If you put first things first, you're organizing and managing time and events according to the personal priorities that you established in habit number 2. So what your plan should be every week is that you have to connect with your missions, your roles, and your goals. And then you have to schedule the big rocks. And then after that, you have to organize the rest.
Ms. Aruj Ahmed, would you like to tell us about what do you mean by thinking win-win?
Dr. Stephen R. Covey suggests that when one side benefits more than the other, that's a win-lose situation. To the winner, it might look like a success for a while, but in the long run, it breeds resentment and distrust. Work effectively with others to achieve optimal results. Think win-win isn't about being nice, nor is it a quick fix technique. It is a character-based code for human interaction and collaboration. Most of us think about success in terms of someone else failing. That is, if I win, you lose, or if you win, I lose. Life becomes a zero-sum game. There's only so much pie to go around, and if you get a big piece, there is less for me. It's not fair, and I'm going to make sure you don't get any more. Win-win sees life as a cooperative arena, not a competitive one. Win-win is a frame of mind and heart that constantly seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. Win-win means that agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial and satisfying. We both get to eat the pie and it tastes pretty good too. Many people think in terms of either or. Either you're nice or you're tough. Win-win requires that you be both. It is a balancing act between courage and consideration. To go for win-win, you not only have to be empathic, but you also have to be confident. You not only have to be considerate and sensitive, you also have to be brave. To do that, to achieve that balance between courage and consideration, is the essence of real maturity and is fundamental to win-win.
Ms. Alina Ahmed, it's habit number 5. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Would you please explain it to us?
When telling about habit number 5, Stephen R. Covey warns us that most people do not listen with the intent to understand, but they listen with the intent to reply. You have to communicate effectively at all levels of the organization. Communication is the most important skill in life. You spend years learning how to read and write and years learning how to speak. But what about listening? What training have you had that enables you to listen so you really deeply understand another human being? Probably none, right? If you're like most of the people, you probably seek first to be understood, that you want to get your point across, and in doing so, you may ignore the other person completely. Pretend you're listening, selectively hear only certain parts of the conversation, or attentively focus on only the words being said, but miss the meaning entirely. So why does this happen? Because most people listen with the intent to reply and not to be understood. Because most people listen with the intent to reply and not to understand. Seek first to understand because you so often listen autobiographically, you tend to respond in one of these four ways: evaluating, probing, advising, and interpreting. Evaluating means that you judge and then either agree or disagree. Probing means that you ask questions from your own frame of reference. Advising means you give counsel, advice, and solution to problems. And interpreting means that you analyze others' motives and behavior based on your own experiences. You might be saying, hey, now wait a minute, I'm just trying to relate to the person by drawing on my own experiences. Is that so bad? In some situations, autobiographical responses may be appropriate, such as when another person specifically asks for help from your point of view, and when there is already a very high level of trust in the relationship.
Ms. Arooj Ahmed, what do you mean by synergize?
Dr. Stephen R. Covey dictates, synergy is better than my way or your way. It's our way. When people begin to interact together genuinely and they're open to each other's influence, they begin to gain new insight. The capability of inventing new approaches is increased exponentially because of differences.
Last but not the least, Ms. Alina Ahmed, please let us know about the seventh habit, that is sharpen the saw.
Dr. Stephen R. Covey says that we must never become too busy sawing. We must also take time to sharpen the saw. You have to seek continuous improvement and renewal professionally and personally. Sharpening the saw means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset that you have, which is you. It means having a balanced program for self-renewal in the four areas of your life, which are physical, social and emotional, mental and spiritual. Here are some examples of activities. In the physical area of your life, you can practice beneficial eating, exercising, and resting, etc. And in the social and emotional area, you have to make social and meaningful connection with others around you. The mental area includes learning, reading, writing, and teaching. And by the spiritual area, I mean spending time in the nature, expanding spiritual self through meditation, music, art, or service. As you renew yourself in each of the four areas, you create growth and change in your life. Sharpen the saw keeps you fresh so you can continue to practice the other 6 habits. Without this renewal, the body becomes weak, the mind mechanical, the emotions raw, the spirit insensitive, and the person selfish. It's not a pretty picture, is it? Living a life in balance means taking the necessary time to renew yourself. It is all up to you. You can renew yourself through relaxation, or you can totally burn yourself out by overdoing everything.
I'm highly obliged to both of you for sparing time from your busy schedule for our program. Dear viewers, I hope that you have found our program interesting and beneficial. Please subscribe our channel and press bell icon so that you can receive our new updates regularly. Take care till next time and keep watching Life Skills.